Hi everyone, thanks for coming today. This webinar is a sprint webinar all about how to improve communication and collaboration in the science curriculum. We have an amazing presenter with us here today. Jenny Godley is a high school chemistry teacher, and I'm actually going to pass the presentation over to her. She will then share her amazing slides, and I have to be honest here and tell you, we had planned to have Jenny just with us for 10 minutes, but then she started, her ideas kept flowing and going. So she has a presentation that could probably take about 30 minutes, but I told her, I was like, you got to move fast. So just note that you will get the slides and the recording as well after this webinar. And I told Jenny that we're going to have her back again so she can go at a slower pace. But hang in there with us today, everyone. Go for it, Jenny. I see your screen. You're good to go.
All right, awesome. Hi, everyone. My name is Jenny, and I'm going to talk about communication and collaboration in the science curriculum. And hopefully, I can get this too. There we go. All right, I don't know if I'm pausing this. All right, so let me know if it goes without me, but I teach chemistry and physical science in Washington. And so you can read about my background a little bit later since we know we have to cruise through this. Let's see. All right, so a lot of the things that we're changing in how we teach science is based off the NGSS. And one of the things is about designing and practicing and really working together in teams and designing experiments. So this is where Seesaw has come in very handy for us. And this is another slide that I found online about the whole idea of the different science practices and the core ideas that they're based off of, and then some cross-cutting concepts between all the different main ideas. Patterns and causation is one of the things that kids really have a lot of problems with. So having a visual platform like Seesaw has been amazing. So as a parent, I always ask what you did in school today to my boys, and I get, grunts and one-word answers. And I wish that Seesaw was being used by my students, my own children's teachers, because then I can just kind of have a glance and see what they did in science. So Seesaw in general has been a great platform for having students document. It is a digital journal, but you can use it in so many more ways, and they can have time to process content. It's a great place to supplement by me, by them, by their parents. So I'm going to go into a little bit more detail with that. I do what's called in-class activities, which is just generally like activities you do during class with labs. So we do have a little bit of both, and you'll see on some of my slides I have things covered up. It says parent name or student name. So this is something that privacy is all listed on there. So when you want to use Seesaw, especially in school systems, you always have to go through the administration. So that's what I did, and just to get approval. But they, with a fine-tooth comb, went through the privacy notes and gave me the go-ahead. So I've been using it and having some of my teachers use it here, and they're not all science teachers. I have an art teacher using it. My husband teaches language. So this is a great place to document, like I said. Science labs, of course, is a problem with students, because sometimes they do the lab, they're there, they go home, they try to answer questions, but they can't remember exactly what happened. So I find that Seesaw has been great because they can relive the experience. They can go back and see the results, because sometimes they're like, well, I think it was this, but I thought it was this, and they won't have a clear answer. So they don't have to guess like what the color of the precipitate was. So experiments are great also to document on video. I've actually heard conversations happening. For example, let's see if this link works.
We're gonna get a bunch of Chinese.
No, get the bigger piece.
The huge piece?
Yeah,
Oh my.
because we didn't
Let's do this. Wait.
Yeah, she said we could get more for less.
Let's do this.
Oh my gosh.
What is it doing?
I want to try to switch it.
You guys happy now?
Oh my gosh. What did you do?
There's a chemical change in the gas.
I think that's too much noise. Oh gosh, wait, look.
Is it really
Wait,
cool?
look.
That's so cool. Is it just
You
cool?
can keep popping it.
All right, so let me, oh, now I gotta find the presentation again. Angela, I might have to help me out here. Oh wait, I think it's,
Just click on that tab there with the orange
thanks.
above. You'll get right back there. There we go.
Thanks. But you can hear, if I went longer, you can hear they're starting to throw out some words because I'm walking around the room right now and I can't get to every single group. So Seesaw has kind of been a pleasant surprise where I can go back and I can hear them using terminology. I can see if they're having any misconceptions, but the student will go on and say it's a chemical change, and then they'll see the color change happening, and then they'll start wondering, well, what's happening? What is it? What's going on? And they don't even know they're having a science discussion, but when they go back and they can hear what they've said, and I can hear what they said, then I can actually assess for understanding this way. So it's been, like I said, there's a lot of random surprises that come along as I've been using Seesaw. Now, I'm not a big into different apps. I know that Seesaw does, they call it app smashing, and so you can incorporate lots of different other apps and post it onto Seesaw. So this video, however, is from the Seesaw app, I believe, and this is they did their own experiment. They designed it and then they executed it, and this was a way for them to show the other students how it went. But on the right side, and just for time's sake, I won't play it, but this is the simulation from the actual Amplify, which is a science curriculum that we are piloting right now, but they took it off of instead of just, some people they like take videos of their computers while it's going, but this actually came from the site itself. So it definitely is compatible, and I've noticed that when I take a picture or take notes or see something online on my phone and I press the option to either print or save, Seesaw app pops up so you can incorporate it. And it's easy to add it to multiple classes on Seesaw through your phone even. So it's been easy to use. So a lot of questions come up in class discussion as students relate concepts we're learning to prior experience in real life. So I always suggest they investigate their questions and share what they can understand on Seesaw. So I specifically made a real life application folder. So there are options to make folders for your particular curriculum, and then you can assess that way as well. And you can just do it by folder, or at least this also helps students who want to organize a little bit better, because now a lot of things are going one-to-one, so they don't have a binder with clear tabs, and this is kind of another way that they will have tabs so they can keep track of their work. But questions need answers, and I'm always about discovering, and kids want to share things, and there's only so much time in the day, and this is a great opportunity for kids who don't speak normally or who do want to share a lot to put it out there for their peers. Project-based learning is also very common in a lot of curriculum, not just science. So this is a great place to document, like gallery walks is what they call them. But this is one of the projects that I've done. I did recently in this past year. In chemistry, we do a lot of, nuclear chemistry projects. This one is based off of chemical reactions and models that they were presenting and different topics that were related. But a gallery walk, simple to post everything on Seesaw, and it's covered right here, but all these bars have names behind them. So again, a quick assessment. And sometimes if you're doing work in general and you have students just do a two-dimensional, document that they all post onto Seesaw, sometimes they don't put their names on their papers. This has turned out to be a nice way to check who did what. So I can see all of the student work at the same time, and it's kind of also a gallery walk, so they can enjoy and process the different projects that came through. So processing, some of us just need a little time, and I think this is what happens with the science curriculum. We're so inundated with so much content that it's hard to have students absorb everything. So there is things like educations, which I've used to document my lectures, and I flip classrooms on depending on the class level. But Seesaw is a great, great platform for us to have kids use, so they can, stop, look, see what they did, do the inquiry that we're demanding that they do in the time that they need. They can review, they can reevaluate, sharing data. So some kids just need that extra time to absorb, process, ask questions, and make observations, because that's what we really want them to do. What did you see? What did you notice? And if it went too fast, or they went to the bathroom, just like a blink of an eye, and a whole experiment might have just, passed their understanding because they just missed that one critical juncture. And so this really helps them to do some recall and reevaluation. So again, I especially love it because I can't be at every lab bench with the entire class. So moving around, I know I miss a lot of great conversation, assessing. So again, they can see the big picture as well. What I've been doing is, and I don't remember if I even included it here, but I have been using assessment tool as a student. We student generated a rubrics of how can we make a post meaningful so that it actually helps us in our learning. These kids are so used to Snapchat, where it's like a blink of an eye, rainbows, unicorns, big eyes, and that's what they think a post is. So it's a minute, like a minuscule moment. It's a moment in time for them, and it's not something they want to sit and dwell on. Whereas Seesaw, they were using it in the beginning like that, just taking pictures or making a comment and not ever looking back. But I want it to be a great tool for them. So they have made a rubrics where they know what's meaningful, what do I need to include? And that's something I didn't realize until second year I started using Seesaw, that it was really important. But you can see here that they can share data, they can share comments. I know a lot of teachers have issues with copying, but in my classroom, I teach science more of a, I want you to write down what you think first, and don't even worry about if it's right or wrong, because that's what takes the longest for kids, is they're trying to think, is it a right answer? Just write down what you think, and then people talk, group talk, peer talk, do it on Seesaw, make comments, and think about, what is your data saying? What does someone else say? All these people have great answers. Let's put them together to make one big great answer. So it's not a right or wrong necessarily. And then if they modify answers, they always modify in red. But by making comments, kids have seen other student misconceptions, they have corrected others, and again, we talk about digital citizenship and the idea of, like, how do you make a comment? How do you make a comment so that it's productive and constructive and positive and has progress, makes progress? So so Seesaw again has been utilized for a lot of things, not just content, but life skills that have been really important in
All
teaching.
right, Jenny, you're doing awesome. And like I said, you'll have to come back and do a 30-minute, but I'd say about 6 more minutes. I know you have so much to share, but
Oh,
you got
yeah, sorry, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so let me just go. Group data, you can see it's a lot, so great to process. And then again, just more examples of how students have been using it. There's tools where you can draw on it, you can take video, you can comment on it, I comment on it so they can see my thoughts on it in case I didn't get to that group. I always tell kids it's a great place so we can see everyone's perspective, so you can put out quick assessments for them. And when you see it all at once, they can see it all at once, but it kind of gives you an idea where everyone's at. If you go to Seesaw Plus, you can also get the whole skills and standards aligned with your activities that you assign, so that's great, especially with NGSS. Homework, they can do things at home, they want to extend their knowledge, so I'm like, go for it. As long as it's safe, you have adult supervision, just document it and share it. And so again, a great platform for that. Getting organized, expectations, class norms, that really helps, especially with my science brain. I'm kind of one of those fly by the seat of my pants kind of people, but I realized that having these like entry tasks really helped to get the kids in a place mindset of getting started and where we're going that day. But here you can see I posted like a chem catalyst. I asked some questions, and below it there's a bazillion comments. Here again is a question that was asked, and then their comments and pictures. So I do what's called an observation deck. So I realized now that I could just put it on Seesaw and have a few minutes where they can write about it. And in the comments section, all the students you can see where everyone's at. But like you can see the kids draw on their pictures and whatnot. So calendar is awesome. I just have to say that when students are absent mentally or physically, you can go back and see what day, see what kids have posted, and have like a reevaluation or relearn if necessary. And you can see how many times you're using it and when you're using it, and go back. So it's again keeps learning going. Sub plans have been great. So there's a video I made for the kids. My sub actually commented how they really liked the fact that the students could ask questions or make comments, even if I was gone. So it's like, again, learning keeps happening. So more sub plans, and I know I only have like a few seconds left, but parents get involved as well. So I've had parents, you can see that you can make comments. Mostly you just look at it and you can see that they've looked at it. It makes a note and they can see what kids are doing in class. So the science conversation can happen at home. And when I'm out and about, I'll make comments about things that we're learning and related to what we're talking about, and students will comment. It's all covered up by here, but students will get on the weekend be talking about science. So learning beyond the school walls is my big thing as well. Think about science all the time. Oops, I did copy the name there. And students have posted things that they did. Oh, Mrs. Godley, I went rock climbing, or I went zip lining. This is what I figured about physics, or Happy Mole Day. This is, how they incorporated moles into what they're doing and what their hobbies and activities. So, and some bonus uses, only a couple, so I can make this quick. Making thinking visible is one of our big focuses. So some silent people, like I was saying, they never speak, but they're thinking. This is a great platform for them and a great platform for teachers as well. So you can actually put other teachers on with you on Seesaw, and they can go through the post. You can collaborate. So you can see Laura is someone I teach with here, and she's also starting to use Seesaw, and we've been collaborating, and it helps with redefining what we want to do in our curriculum, where we're going, troubleshooting experiments, just sharing student work and what we're discovering. So hope that was hope you can absorb all that.
I know, right? We went to fast forward mode. Can you pause here on this, stay on this slide for a second, because I know one of the questions people ask a lot, I'm seeing all your classes listed if you look in the center column here. So you have each of your science classes as a different class, correct?
Yes.
Absolutely. Wonderful. So that's a question that often gets asked. Are they signing in with a QR code, or are they doing email, Google
Well, they
sign-in?
were first doing with QR code, but now that I have multiple teachers that my students have as well, they are doing email, because then they can just add a class. So they have art class on their Seesaw, and then they have my class, so it works out great. French.
Fabulous.
No, I like, some teachers do like having all the students in one class so they could all share cross classes their work. So I know art does it that way, but I kind of like having the collaboration piece being close off to their class specifically.
Right, right. That makes sense. Well, Jenny, you did a great job going extremely, extremely fast with all of your amazing content, and I can't wait to have you back for a 30-minute webinar where you can really actually breathe and process, and people can ask lots of questions to you. But if you go to the next slide, I know on there I just have, again, if they have questions for you or how to contact Jenny, she is on Twitter, so you can reach out to Jenny on Twitter. If she sparked something in you today and you want to know more, that's how you're going to contact her, and we will have her back again to go at a slower pace and share all of her awesome ideas. But this is a good warm-up, Jenny. I loved it. So thanks for coming in today, everyone.
I love sharing, and I love to hear more ideas too, so thanks again.
Thank you.